Namaste everyone. This is Srinivas here. I am from Hindu Speakers Club. Well, to begin with, Hinduism being the oldest religion or philosophy or faith, you call it, it's been unrecorded. It's like the oldest text itself is Rig Veda is more than 4,000 years old. And we have like sculptures, findings have been unearthed. So like more than 10,000 years of sculptures have been found all over the world, in various parts of the world. So today I'd like to keep it brief and simple with two simple examples. Hinduism is nature driven, it's largely nature inspired, nature driven and universal. It is not bounded to a book or an individual or a specific person. It's like it evolves. It's like a spiritual evolution. So it's just like nature, we are all products of nature. So as nature changes, so are our emotions, so are our thought processes, so is our perception, so are the way we look at the nature. So for a typical Hindu, the nature around us is a manifestation of God. That's how we look at it. So a few examples I can walk through for everyone's sake here today. Two short stories from our gurus. We call it from time to time, era to era, millennium to millennium. We have these spiritual gurus, spiritual masters, we call it. They have been imparting various metaphors in terms of short stories. There have been Hindu ideas have been propagated in terms of stories, images. You can say statues, idols, deities, we call it. So why do we do that? As you have put it, the question is, why is the figurative language? Here it is. Images transcend boundaries of languages. So images have a stronger impact on human mind than coded language or a complicated, thick, fat books. So that is one of the reasons why Hinduism has been surviving for so long. Figurative languages, metaphors have always been a part of Hinduism. So here I would like to share a small story. One of the gurus, say a salt doll went down the bottom of search for the bottom of the ocean. So a doll made of a salt. So what does it mean? In terms of metaphor, it's a doll wants to measure the bottom of an ocean. But here the salt doll is being referred to as an individual, and the ocean is being referred to as an eternal spiritual force. That is the Brahman. So human is trying to explore the divinity in the universe. That's what the story is all about. A salt doll went to fathom the ocean, bottom of the ocean. So what happens when a salt doll is being thrown into an ocean? It simply dissolves. So what does the story tell here? When a human is here, let me put it two simple words. A human is being called as Jivatma. The divinity, higher power is being referred to as Paramatma. When we try to understand the universal force, we dissolve into the universal spirit, and there's no other, we simply dissolve it. Just like a salt doll dissolves into the ocean, we simply dissolve into the eternity. There's no other, you can't distinguish between human spirit versus eternal spirit. That's what the story is all about. So another story is like the waves and the sea. So what is a wave? A wave is on the surface. That's what a human soul is being referred to as. And the sea, the bottom of the sea is being referred to as Paramatma, the universal spirit, we call it. So the bottom of the sea, however, no matter what happens, is always constant and calm. No matter how much the surface is turbulent. So what are these turbulences here? The turbulences are being referred to as human emotions. Humans are being prone to various emotions like anger, depression, sadness. So these various turbulences of human states of mind are being referred to as turbulences. So that's the story of waves and the sea, we call it. So the waves are our human emotions, and the bottom of the sea is always the constant, calm, that's the universal spirit. So what I would like to say in short is, yes, there are various metaphors, multiple metaphors, like we have Bhagavad Gita as a standard book. We have like for instance, how do you define? And it's like ocean of knowledge. I mean, it's like I can go endless on this, but we have this definition of a personal disposition. We call it as swabhava, and then we call how do you define a personality development? Bhumika, we call it as. So various metaphors, we use it in various contexts with various words. We have it, and why various interpretations? Interpretations may vary from generation to generation depending upon the gurus and how we are analyzing the situations there. It's the thought process of the generation. That's how it is. Swastika. Swastika is a holy symbol that represents well-being. It represents well-being for beginning of a ritual, beginning of worship. In most of the Hindu temples, Buddhists, Jains, they use the symbol of swastika. So swastika, it's been used for since thousands of years. It's been a holy symbol for Hindus, Buddhists alike, and it's been used in all the Hindu rituals, religious places. However, swastika, in fact, even before World War I, swastika was used by Coca-Cola. Swastika was used by Carlsberg, Denmark. It's a distillery company. Swastika was used in Boy Scouts, America. Girl Scouts had a magazine named Swastika. This was all prior to World War I. And even swastika was used, I think, in some of the army camps, army symbols in their uniform. Yes. So swastika was widely used as a symbol of well-beingness. However, it has been I'll not say it has been, it was like plagiarized or hijacked by the Nazi team in Germany. The Nazis picked it up and they call it as Hakenkreuz, and then they modified the symbol, and then it has become a symbol of fascism after World War II. So since then, the symbol of swastika has been there's a confusion between the Western populations versus Indians, Indian Hindus. In India, I mean, swastika is always used in all the temples, Buddhist places. The symbol of swastika is always used. I mean, no one sees it as a symbol of fascism or hate. But however, on the Western populations, when it comes, when they see a swastika, it has been interpreted as a symbol of Nazi hatred or Nazi fascism, I call it. So why it has been misinterpreted? Maybe for political reasons. I can't dwell into it within the short period of time. Why it has been misinterpreted? Maybe to malign Hindu symbols. That's all I can say in the short span of time. But the holy symbol of swastika represents well-being, and it's conducive for well-being of a particular ritual, beginning of a ritual. We put the symbol of swastika and we start the worship. We call it pujas, and it's been used. I mean, it's been there. So this is where some of the misinterpretations come in. The German symbol, there's a difference. If you put swastika and Hakenkreuz, the corners are slightly modified. So how does one interpret the right interpretation? Yeah, just walk into any Hindu temple, you'll find swastikas. Talk to any Hindu priest, he will explain to you why the symbol of swastika is being used. So it's as simple as that. So misinterpretations have been going on for various reasons. And in this case of swastika, I can say it's political reasons, I'll say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srini, for your answer. Yeah. So give a round of applause. And in that case, Mr. Srini, I really do appreciate the in-depth answer regarding the swastika.
Mm-hmm.
For question 2, in regards to interpretations within metaphors, though.
Right.
So we know that the Bhagavad Gita and the other scriptures that you did mention, and from one of the previous panelists that also gave her answer, I believe her name was Miss Padmaja, she was also mentioning a kind of metaphor, figurative language that was cryptic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question that I'd like to follow up from this one is, were there misinterpretations from figurative language used in that way? And if so, how could a person distinguish whether that interpretation was correct or not?
If it is anything specific, I can answer it. But if it is figurative, for instance, Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, they have various metaphors. For instance, we have various characters like Karna. Karna was representative of sacrifice. Despite having all the talents, he sided with negative forces. So he lost the battle. So he has to face his karma. So there are various metaphors like, uh, for instance, swabhava. We call it as swabhava represents like, hey, I'm personally like, it's about me. Like, what is it? I'm here. So that's kind of personal disposition, we call it. Or you can say personally, how do I face the situation? So it's like, how do I like different people react to different ways in for a particular situation. So it is based on your swabhava. Like, I may react to one way and the other person may react to a similar situation in a different way. So why the difference in behaviors? So this is called swabha. It varies from individual to individual based upon your perceptions about what you are expecting from the situation. Some, like, if he's a selfless person, he will think in a detached way. So this is one way of thinking. So if the person has some selfish motive, he may have a interpret and give a judgment in a different way. So this we call it as swabhava. It varies from person to person. And yeah, another thing is like what is the role? I mean, depends upon your role. If you are a CEO of your company, you look into the situation in a different way. But if you are at a lower cadre, you'll just take care of your salary paycheck, just leave it out. But a CEO cannot do that. So it's like, it's a role play, bhumika, where you are in the society. So that's how it varies. From it, a person's character, a behavior, attitudes, they vary upon your role, upon your personal worldview.
So would it be safe to say that it's almost subjective?
Subjective, yes. And it also like varies from situation to situation based upon what is it you are intending to do. Intent is more important than intelligence here. That's what the message is.